Have a division matchup as the Carolina Panthers are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is your Week 13, 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start off with the home team, the Carolina Panthers. Last week was an encouraging week, but also a tough week. They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 30-27, and they lost by 3 points. Bryce Young on the day had his best game of the year by far. He was 21-35 on the day, 263 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. And you look at Chuba Hubbard. He had 1 rushing touchdown on the day. He averaged 3.6 yards a carry. And he also had 58 rushing yards on the day. Chuba Hubbard had an off week last week. Those are good numbers for regular running backs. But Chuba Hubbard has been one of the better running backs in the NFL this season. And he still performed well going against a tough defense of the Kansas City Chiefs in the interior. It's going to be similar in this matchup. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lot of talent on that front seven, but they love to blitz. Dave Canales is the former offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Todd Bowles knows him very well, and the same with Dave Canales. So do not be surprised if you see some major chunk plays here and there from the Carolina Panthers if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go out there and they decide to blitz. Offensive line protection is going to be key in this matchup. Bryce Young has performed very well over the last 3 games. And it's because the offensive line protection is also because they can run the football. It's going to be tough, but Dave Canales has put an emphasis on this Carolina Panthers offense. Go out there and run this offense through Chuba Hubbard, work off a play action with Bryce Young. And last week, he let Bryce Young go out there and throw the football around the field. That's what you have to do in this matchup. When they went against the New York Giants and against the New Orleans Saints, it were a couple of times to where they let Bryce Young take a few shots down the field. But last week, they were letting him wheel and deal behind the offensive line. Don't go conservative in this matchup because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they rank 29th in passing defense. You can take advantage of the blitz as long as Bryce Young get the football out of his hand quickly. And I will use more motion patterns in this matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to keep them off balance on the defensive end and to keep Todd Bowles guessing. And I will run a lot of up-tempo, a lot of hurry-up offense to try to keep Todd Bowles guessing to see if he wants to blitz or not against Bryce Young. But offensive line protection is going to be key. The key wide receivers will be Jalen Coker, the rookie, Xavier Legette, who is also a rookie, and Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen was able to come out last week. It was his first game back since he hurt his hamstring against the Las Vegas Raiders. Adam Thielen is still a very good wide receiver. He only had 57 receiving yards last week, but he was crucial on 3rd and 4th down. Watch out for him inside the slot. And this is also a man that had 2 major penalties drawn on the Kansas City Chiefs to put the Carolina Panthers in scoring range late in the game. Target him as much as possible. You still have Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker. Don't forget about them. But with the injury to JT Sanders, the tight end, because he's out for this game, you may not have those many explosive plays. But you have Xavier Legette you can feed the ball to, and also Jalen Coker. And watch out with how many screens that you will call in this matchup. Todd Bowles is very good against stopping screens because he was sent in a blitz on that side. You have to be careful with that because usually those plays can turn to interceptions. And like I mentioned before, Bryce Young has done a very good job of taking care of the football. He did have 1 interception against the New Orleans Saints a couple weeks ago. That was not on him. Xavier Legette catches the football. The cornerback comes out of nowhere. He snatches it out of his hand. Bryce Young threw a dime. And Xavier Legette just has to work in the execution. And that brings this conversation up because you look at Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker. They have dropped the football a lot in the last few weeks on crucial situations. But they've also made some big-time plays. They're young players. They have to dial it back in this matchup because they're going to try to speed up the clock on Bryce Young and send in those heavy blitzes. But it's going to come down to the offensive line protection and can they run the football effectively enough with Chuba Hubbard. Jonathan Brooks was able to play last week. He had 2 carries for 7 yards. Expect for him to have 4 to 5 touches in this matchup. It was his first game in the NFL last week, and it was his first game playing in a very long time. This is a running back that's recovering from an ACL injury, so it's going to take time to acclimate him in this system. They're still going to run the football with Chuba Hubbard, but get him up to at least 20 touches in this matchup. And I'm talking about Chuba Hubbard here, and just ease in Jonathan Brooks. You don't want to go out there and feed Jonathan Brooks 10 to 15 carries straight off the bat. Take your time with him. Watch out for how the tight end position is going to play without JT Sanders. And this offense, all they have to do, continue to block with Bryce Young and let him work through his progressions. When I look at the defense for the Carolina Panthers, they were not good last week. They were solid at times because they got to Patrick Mahomes a lot. They were able to sack him. But you're going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This may be a hot take. This offensive line of the Buccaneers, they're a better unit right now than the Kansas City Chiefs, especially at the tackle positions. The interior with the Kansas City Chiefs is one of the best in the NFL. you're going to have to find a way to put pressure on Baker Mayfield. You sacked Patrick Mahomes 5 times last week. When I look at this Panthers defense, they have played better over the last couple of games because their defense is getting healthier. You have Jadeveon Clowney, you have DJ Wonnum. DJ Wonnum has come in, and he's looked very good coming off the edge. He has 2 sacks on the season, 1 forced fumble. He's questionable for this matchup, but he's on pace to play in this game. He's going to have to go out there and set the tone. The rushing defense of the Carolina Panthers is still the worst in the NFL. You have to find a way to go out there and stop the run game. I'm pretty sure Dave Canales knows this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense right now, they're not one-dimensional. They can go out there, they can run the football, they can pass the football all around. And usually with teams like this, the Carolina Panthers have struggled against them. But this is a division matchup. I expect for it to be closer. But you have to put pressure on Baker Mayfield. And I would not blitz much in this matchup. Baker Mayfield has done very well this season against the blitz. Look at what happened in the Kansas City Chiefs game and also against the New Orleans Saints. When they were sending blitzes his way, he was just throwing the deep ball to Mike Evans, or he'll just run outside the pocket and buy himself enough time. Baker Mayfield is playing like an MVP right now if you do not look at the interceptions. And he has done this for the last few weeks without Mike Evans and without Chris Godwin. You don't want Baker Mayfield to go out there and single-handedly dictate this game. Try to get the football of his hand quick as possible and try to stop the run. It's going to come down to Jadeveon Clowney, who is a veteran, DJ Wonnum, and Trayvon Wallace. Trayvon Wallace is a rookie in the interior linebacker spot. I'm worried about him. But Josie Jewell should be able to come in and play better in this particular matchup. I look at J.C. Horn. I would put him on Mike Evans the entire game. I would make him travel around because Mike Evans is still one of the best wide receivers in the game. And this is a Buccaneers offense without Chris Godwin. Make other wide receivers and other weapons go out there and defeat you. You can't let Mike Evans go out there and single-handedly dominate this game, because if you do, you're going to make life easy for Baker Mayfield. And the next thing that you know with Coach EJ, he will try to double team Mike Evans. And all the other wide receivers with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they can beat one-on-one coverages. But it comes down to the interior defensive line with the Carolina Panthers, and can they put enough pressure on Baker Mayfield so he doesn't have all day inside the pocket? And they called in a lot of blitzes last week on Patrick Mahomes. We're going to see what happens this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're still fighting to win this division, and there's still a chance they can win this division. They have to go out there and win this game. And Baker Mayfield last week, he looked like a superstar yet again. Granted, it was against the New York Giants, but they beat all the fight out of that team early on, even when the first quarter was over with. Baker Mayfield was 24 of 30, 294 passing yards. Bucky Irvin, 87 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. He averaged 7 yards a carry. Rashard White, one rushing touchdown, 37 rushing yards on the day. Run the football in this matchup against the Carolina Panthers. Make them sell out to stop the run game, and then you can work off a play action. This is something that Coach Lim has done a very good job of this year. They've ran the football very well with Bucky Irving, and right now he is number 1 running back. But you also have Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker has blazing speed, especially when he has the football in his hand and he can catch it from behind his line of scrimmage in certain screen situations. Take advantage of the linebacking problems that the Carolina Panthers have. I would target the linebackers in this matchup. Teams have done that in the past, and they have had a very good track record of doing that. I would not go out there and I would not test out the cornerbacks every single play, because the secondary has started to play better with Michael Jackson and J.C. Horn. And the one thing about Coach Lim, he loves crossing patterns, working off of play action. And he loves to have those running backs go out there and cause misdirection. This is the perfect game to do this, because the Carolina Panthers rushing defense, like I mentioned before, is dead last in the NFL. And Baker Mayfield has sneaky athleticism. He had 1 rushing touchdown last week, and he had 29 rushing yards. The rushing attack is going to be your best friend in this matchup. Mike Evans, 68 receiving yards. You guys already know what I'm going to say. Feed Mike Evans at will, but be careful with doing that. In second and third down situation, those crucial situations, get him the football. Bucky Irving also had 64 receiving yards on the day. I'm telling you, they like to use their running backs in the receiving game. When Mike Evans was out and Chris Godwin, who's been out for over the last few weeks since he suffered that ankle injury against the Baltimore Ravens, they like to run this offense through Baker Mayfield by using those running backs and those tight ends. And that's going to be a problem for the Carolina Panthers. And for the Buccaneers, target the middle of the field. That is where a lot of chunk plays have come from this year. We go back many weeks ago when the Carolina Panthers played against the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams over and over again was targeting the middle of the field with DJ Moore, with Michael Jackson draped all over him. The middle of the field has been wide open this year against certain zone coverages of the Carolina Panthers. And when you're working off of play action, that's what you would love to see. But continue to use the running backs to get the football out of Baker Mayfield's hands as fast as possible. And I look at the offensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They should have a very good day. And like I mentioned before, Todd Bowles, this is a man that you hired in the past, and Dave Canales. You hired him for a reason because you like his offense. Hopefully he can go out there and he can stop their offense or just neutralize their offense with Bryce Young. And speaking of Todd Bowles, this defense with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has been up and down this year. Like I mentioned, 29th in passing defense. That's when they blitz. Funny enough, when they don't blitz and they just go out there with their standard traditional defensive linemen, they're ranked 23rd in passing defense. And that's very interesting. It's still not one of the best passing defenses in the NFL, but you have Antoine Winfield, you have Zion McCollum. I know what Todd Bowles is going to try to do in this matchup. He's going to try to send a lot of heat at Bryce Young, who is a second-year quarterback. But you have Kalijah Kancey and Vita Vea. They should be able to go out there and push the pocket on the interior. And you have Yaya Diaby, and you also have Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Those guys should be able to crash in off the edge. Interior pressure is so important in the NFL because it allows the quarterback not to be able to step up in his throws. And that's what Bryce Young loves to do. Now, Bryce Young against the Kansas City Chiefs, he was just stepping into pressure. He did not care. This is why I can see Todd Bowles sending a lot of pressure up the middle and also sending extra help off the edge. It's a lot of times where they'll just run cover zero blitz with no safety help, and they'll just leave guys in one-on-one situations. You can do that in this matchup, but you have to be careful. Adam Thielen is still one of the best route runners in the game today, and Xavier Legette has blazing speed. And Xavier Legette can create that separation going deep down the field like how he did last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Be careful with your blitzing, but I would want to see how the offensive line would react against pressure up the middle of the field towards a shorter quarterback like Bryce Young. And Bryce Young may shock you. This is a man that can see the middle of the field. He would take those deep shots down the middle of the field. Have Antoine Winfield as a single high safety, and you can bring him down closer to the box. But personally, I would not do that. And the reason I'm speaking of bringing Antoine Winfield closer to the box, Jordan Whitehead, who has been a very good safety with the system of Todd Bowles throughout his entire career. He's out for this game. He's dealing with a pectoral injury. Mike Edwards may step in that spot. But Antoine Winfield, he could play strong safety. He could play free safety. I think that the secondary with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this matchup, they may shock you because Zion McCollum has been very good. He's their number one cornerback that they have. And they have Tyke Smith playing that nickel position. But it's going to come down to Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Kancey, Vita Vea, and Logan Hall. Can they get enough pressure on Bryce Young to make him uncomfortable inside the pocket? With that being said, this is a home game for the Carolina Panthers. Right now, they're riding high off of that loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. I know it's crazy to say, but they played up to competition. I think the Carolina Panthers may come back down to earth a little bit. I am going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this matchup, and I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win this game 28-23. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game, the Carolina Panthers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.